Good morning, South Rock. Welcome to another Mark devotion. Today we are in 2 verses 18 through 22. And it is questions about fasting. The Pharisees see that Jesus' disciples aren't fasting when they are, and John's disciples, John the Baptist's disciples, are fasting as well. And so people come up to Jesus and say, well, everybody's fasting. Why aren't you all? And Jesus gives them a great line. In verse 20, he says, the days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast in that day. Meaning that they're not fasting because they're celebrating that Jesus is here. They're celebrating that I'm here. And so it's not a time to fast. You don't fast at a wedding. You celebrate at a wedding. And when the wedding day is over, then we can start fasting again. So, and then he starts with a story, parable that is confusing to a lot of people because it seems kind of random in this spot, where he says that you don't patch an old piece of cloth with a new piece of cloth, because the new piece can tear away from the old piece and make the old piece worse and a bigger tear. And you don't put new wine in old wineskins, because the new wine will ferment and bust the old wineskins. So you put new wine in new wineskins so that it can ferment and expand and contract. And it's strange. But to be quick, basically about that. Basically, Jesus is saying, what you're doing is the old way, and what I'm doing is this new way. And new to them doesn't mean better and improved. When we hear new, we think new and improved. This is just new, just different. And so he's saying, what you're doing is the old way. What we're doing is this new way that I'm bringing. And we can't really, right now, we can't bring them together because you don't see what's going to happen if we tried. And he's basically saying what I'm doing is different. And right now, it's a new wine. It's new wine that we can't put into your old wineskins because it'll burst and both will be destroyed. So it's different, and things are about to change. That's as quick as an explanation as I could give. And so kind of what I gathered from these two questions is I got two questions based off this. First of all, the fasting point. My first one is, do you fast? And the second one is, can you fast? That's a two-part question. Fasting doesn't mean food always. Maybe you need to fast from your phone. Maybe you need to fast from your TV. That's a way of fasting. You can do that, and instead of taking that time to watch TV, you take that time to devote to Jesus. Same thing with food. When we aren't eating, the point is we don't eat so we can subject ourselves to better prayer, to better worship in those times. So you should be fasting. But do you fast? How do you fast? And what can you fast? And the second question is this, and it comes from this kind of confusing thing of old versus new. Again, old versus kind of different. And that's, what's something that you do differently now because of change? Now, that can be broad. That can be good or bad, big or different, or big or little. But that's an important question to ask. What's something that is different now in my life because of something that changed? And it could be as simple as maybe you used to use a crank grinder for coffee beans and now you have an electric one. But the follow-up to that, another two-part question, how can God use that to the glory of his kingdom? Because I think that's what Jesus is getting at here is, you have this old way of doing things, which is fine, but this new way is different, and it's going to be glorifying to God all the same. Like just because it's different doesn't mean it can't be used for God's good. And so to use my coffee grinder example, maybe not having to hand crank your coffee grounds and having an electric grinder, maybe that just saves you enough time to pray a little extra longer. Maybe that saves you enough time to read an extra verse in your Bible. That could be as simple as the answer as it needs to be. But to reiterate the two questions, do you fast and what can you fast? And then the second question, what's something you do differently now because of something that changed? And how can God use that to his glory, to the glory of the kingdom? So that's what I have for this morning. I hope you have a good rest of your day.